Welcome to the Inner Reboot with Sam and Heidi, your weekly pit stop to shake off the stress, laugh at life's plot twists and recharge your mindset. Because let's be honest, transformation doesn't have to be boring or involve 75 different types of smoothie.
So grab a drink, smoothies if you must, and join us for the wins, the fails and the awkward bits, because sometimes the biggest breakthroughs start with an inner reboot, and occasionally forgetting why you even walked into the room. Hello, hello.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
How are you? How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Sorry. I've got to mention what we've just talked about. We just talked about
Okay.
we just talked about the little ideas and things that fly around in our brain, like little ideas or annoying voices or positive voices or lots of creative energy. And sometimes there's too much, sometimes there's not enough, sometimes it's great and you find the sweet spot. And then ultimately we've called them the positive peas.
Yeah. Or lack thereof.
Or
When
the
you're
lack
just
of
left
positive
with
peas.
one bouncing around in your cranium all on its own.
One lonely little pea trying to generate some ideas on their own.
Oh, it's been an interesting last week, hasn't it, actually?
It has.
What we've been doing. Yeah. It's been creative and fun and good and some really weird moments of like, what the actual fuck?
Lots of what the actual fuck moments in every sense of the saying, like not just related to one thing, but almost any thought processes we've got or anything we've been working on, it's been either that's fucking amazing, let's do more of that, or oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah, we definitely had one of those last week. I think we've been through a bit of a weird moment, haven't we, of like realization of all of the things, realizing that we can't do everything. We don't know everything. Realizing that we're perhaps not doing some of the things that we want to do, but also knowing that we're doing some things that we didn't want to do and maybe some routes that we didn't want to go down. So it's been an evolution. It's been a transformation.
It has been
Keeping it in the realms of what we're actually doing.
Very quick
It's
transformation.
yeah.
Well, actually, we're not at transformation stage yet, are we? It's been the realization that we needed to transform our thinking again. So I guess our thinking's had some transformation because I think the biggest thing was the realization that we were spending more time on the things that we didn't want to be doing, that weren't why we started all of this in the first place, and were not filling our cups, and we'd sort of lost our way a bit, I guess, in terms of what we're doing and what we're offering.
Yeah, also I think we started going places which we didn't know enough about, and I think that was giving us really bad anxiety of things like marketing and how does it
I
work
don't get me
and
started on marketing.
all of that stuff. just going to put you back in your
I
nightmare of
literally,
last week.
that is gonna, I
Yeah.
think, just always gonna trigger me. I think if anybody mentions marketing, I'm just gonna sit in the corner and
Quiver.
cry until it's gone.
rock backwards and forwards.
Because this is the thing, right? Like, and I think whether it's starting a business, whether it's doing something that you really love doing as a hobby, like whatever it is you're trying to do, or whatever transformation you're trying to make, or even just getting from A to B, for all of us, we start that because we're really passionate about the thing. And we either have the knowledge or we have the insight or we have the desire or whatever it is, the confidence in the thing. The problem with any transformation or with starting anything new or with doing anything differently or taking a massive giant leap of faith is all of the shit that you don't know how to do in the middle. Like that muddly middle bit gets really, really muddly because I think it's easy to think you have to know how to do it. You should know how to do it. Everyone else knows how to do it. So why can't you just do it?
Yeah, but do they though? This is the thing. I think
no,
that's
I don't think so.
no. Well, that's the realization, though, isn't it? Of seeing what's out there already and it all being perfected and served up on this amazing platter, of like, hey, there's this really cool product or service and it's great, whatever. We forget that they've been through this journey as well of
But they're probably like
actually,
10 years in.
and it does become a bit of a shit show because it really was. I mean, we were so stuck of
Mm.
like what almost to the point of being like, actually, what the fuck are we doing? Should we even be doing this? You know,
Literally. Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
having those all that second guessing of like, oh, I don't think we can do it, etc. And some of that, a lot of that actually was because we were trying to do things that we didn't have a clue how to do. And
Don't want to. Like,
yeah,
quite
and I
frankly,
have
I don't
no
want to market. I don't want to be a marketing person.
no interest in doing it at all. And I think finding out what's out there and available to almost lighten the load. And yes, you have to speculate to accumulate. So there's things that you have to put in place that you hadn't thought of putting in place, but you have to do it because it makes it so much easier of thinking, actually, what can I give to somebody else to do because they're happy to do it? That means that I don't need to do it and I can focus on the things that bring me energy and what I want to do. And that's kind of where we got to at the end of last week of having these really weird backwards and forwards all over this place, like a bowl of spaghetti almost, of thinking, well, we kind of know where we want to get to, but we're just stuck now, like monumentally stuck.
Really, and also, like, what can you afford to do in and amongst that as well when it's not generating the income, the surplus income to just go off and pay for things left, right, and centre. Like, there's loads of
Hmm.
stuff that we want to do that we know will be helpful to do in the future and in the long run, but we can't do that right now. So it's like really that chicken and egg. And I think your spaghetti thing is so like, we literally almost had to chuck everything back in and almost lay it all out and go, well, there's all of these different parts. Which are the bits we want? Which are the bits we don't at all ever? Which are the bits we can do? What are the bits we can't do? What's within our control? What's not? And I mean, I guess this is a bit that everyone talks about, like in terms of the reality is probably no businesses become successful without having to do this bit and feeling like, do you give up? Do you not? How far do you push? What do you sit in and sit in that like muddly middle?
Yeah, and also how much uncomfortableness can you sit in and for what period of time? Because it is uncomfortable. There are moments of feeling the pain of it.
Mm,
And your head hurts, you feel stressed, you get anxiety, you lose sleep, like all of that stuff. It's actually understanding yourself, but also forgiving yourself if you get to the point where you go, I can't do it. Because
yeah,
that it's almost, it seems like failure, but it really isn't failure. It's acknowledgement and enlightenment almost around the fact that you know where you can add value and what you can do. And you then realizing, actually, I probably need to let go of this particular thing because it's not doing anything positive for me. I saw something on, might have been on LinkedIn actually. So apologies if I'm re-quoting somebody's post,
mm.
but I'm now about to steal it. It was an acronym for FAIL, and it was I've completely forgotten it now. First attempt in learning.
Yes, yes, I have seen and heard
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It was really good. And I was like, that's really interesting because we talk about the word failure a lot and we say you should fail fast because, then you get more from it and you know what to try differently. But it literally is your first attempt in learning of the things that you have no clue how to do. Yet we really do beat ourselves up if we don't get it right first time, which I find fascinating. Like what our expectations are so high, not you and I, but everybody's expectations are so high. It's like, oh, I'm going to try this thing, and you don't get it right first time, and it puts you off so catastrophically. And we don't take the positives out of it, and I find that really interesting. So I feel like we're in this space of we're kind of in a not in quicksand, but we're definitely trudging through the mud. And it's taking a minute, but I think we have to be kind and allow ourselves that minute and that space and the bad feelings. And sometimes the bad feelings can be good.
They can be good. Well, they turn out to be good, and they're
Mm.
feelings that you have to give space to. And I think that's the thing. Yes, it feels like trudging through mud. Last week certainly did. I don't think I've got some other, like, I guess, reflections and thoughts going on, but last week definitely felt like we were in the depths of trudging through that mud. But I think the point is we didn't just stand still. Like, we didn't just wait for the mud to disappear or for us to sink in it and never be able to move another foot forward. we decided that we didn't want to feel like that. So we almost had to explore everything and get really frustrated with each other as well, like in terms of like both wanting to like we both were stuck for different in different parts. So we almost had to navigate that so we could unstick each other, but also then move it forward together.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of to be said in terms of having a trusted relationship and the space to be able to do that and to work through it. Um, because we've also got our own individual preferences and styles and thoughts and feelings and all of that sort of stuff wrapped up into it as well. Actually, it was a lot last week. It was a lot. Sorry,
It's
just
just
reflecting.
hit you.
Oh my God, it was so much. And I think a lot has to be said for letting go of acknowledging what's taken us down the wrong path and letting go of some of that stuff as well, even if it's feels like the quick solution. Because actually, for us, the quicker solutions or potential solutions were not going to give us what we wanted the business or us to be.
No, it wasn't the point of the long-term goal because
Or why
there's
we
some stuff
started.
that we
Yeah.
could there's some stuff we could do that we know we could do, but that's not why we did this in the first place. So it's almost acknowledging there is a slightly easier route, but that's not the route to happiness or the point of what we set out to do in the first place. And
Or
that took
what
a
we
minute.
deem as success for this.
Yeah, and that took a minute to sink in for me. I think is like one of the things I think I said to you last week was, well, we've been working in organizations all of our working lives, and then we've stepped outside of that to do something different. And rather than grab onto the difference, I think we
We
grabbed onto what we
replicated.
knew and replicate it and almost ended up going, well, hang on a minute, we're doing the same thing but working for ourselves. Whereas actually, that's not why we stepped away. We stepped away to go, we want to do all the things that we've not been able to do because of varying reasons. And yeah, that was a massive wake up call to think, you know, it's all of the creative stuff that we have that we've never been able to do is the point of why we did it.
Well, the creative stuff and the like really truly helping people
Mm.
rather than through big initiatives or big programs in organizations, but actually helping individuals get from A to B, helping people get answers. It's really, really interesting because we should have documented bit by bit last week because the thing that we ultimately want to help people do is get from A to B and manage that muddly middle and have the right mindset, the right tools, the right knowledge, insights, and practical resources. Having all of those tools at their disposal so that they can get from A to B. And that's really hard to do when we was doing it as our professional learning roles. Whereas we can shape that and we can decide how to do that. And that is not through the same mechanisms as what we would have done. And last week, we literally went through that process ourselves.
We were stuck in the middle and we needed us to get us out.
We did. We needed our
Mm.
little positive P's to get
Yeah.
us out from that stuck place. And I guess that's the benefit. We have that knowledge and that insight and those tools to be able to do it.
It's hard though when you're right in the middle of it though, isn't it? Of
Yeah, it
thinking,
is.
how do I get my head above water and kind of navigate this? And I think some of the things, it's very cathartic actually, what we went through the last week, I felt, because it enabled us to actually have a bit of reflection time and understand the purpose, which is to help all of that. Um, Yeah, it was definitely an interesting journey. I don't know that I want to do it too many times more. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel a bit like, oh,
It's
that was
tiring.
an
It was exhausting.
experience. It was really exhausting, mentally, physically exhausting. It was just, yeah. But the exhaustion kind of hits you afterwards because we went from a place of like, actually, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
we're just
Like,
in a
let's
mess.
just stop
To
and
then the
pause.
realization of like, oh no, we're back on it. We know what we're doing, and then feeling that energy and getting the momentum of like, here we go, brilliant. We're almost like back on track. We've made a couple of decisions. We've thought through some stuff. We've had some creative thinking and some space around that. And even that is exhausting because your brain's then on overdrive because you want to race to the next thing. And I think that's the bit that I've taken away from it, is now not to get in the danger zone of racing to that next point. It's actually taking the time and making sure that we are on track and we're doing all of the great stuff. Not to kind of, I don't know, sink again
Mm.
in it, like sometimes rushing into it is a bit too much. And I think a bit of reflection and creativity and coming together and building stuff is really important.
Well, I think it is that, like, not sinking, but also not getting pulled in to the quick fixes. But I mean, there will be moments where we have to go, hang on a minute, are we down the right path or are we not? But I think also we have so much more awareness now of what the right path or the wrong path looks like,
Hmm.
and our purpose more nailed down. And I guess you're probably hoping and praying, I'm hoping and praying that this means I don't have so much of like, oh yeah, but we need this thing, or like, have we have we really nailed down exactly how we're going to talk about this or what it looks like or like all of that stuff? Because I feel like we have.
Yeah, I think there's two things. There's one is not to rehash a great idea you've already got and then think of another 20 ideas.
Oh my God,
And
we
the other
literally
one,
did that. That was
yeah.
so our strap line for the business is untangling the minds for lasting transformation, right? I can't tell you how many times, and this was me driving this, so I'm very sorry about that, where I'm like, oh, over the last couple of weeks, probably because I started to feel this like sense of feeling stuck, and kept like, but what's our strap line? What's our thing? What are we talking about? Blah 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 blah. And so we entertained that. Sam entertained that wildly, and we kept last week going over different things and different ideas and even different visuals, and then literally it was like, it is just untangling the minds. That is what we do.
I think for me, it's watching you and observing you have all of these different brain farts and coming out with all this stuff and then just quietly sitting there and watching the penny drop. The light bulb goes on and then you're like,
Oh yeah.
oh, we had it already, didn't we? Yeah, it's been there the whole time. It's like,
But the only
it's right there.
benefit of that is I have to mentally go through that process, but also loads of other stuff dropped out in the process.
I did.
So
Yeah,
there
a lot.
were loads of other ideas, and I was like, there was lots where it was like, well, maybe it's this and maybe it's that, and they are not our strapline. They're not our purpose, but they are useful things that we will use in our work and in the business. So all is not lost. But yeah, I do. I'm really sorry about that.
It's funny though, watching you go around the houses of the creativity in your brain is interesting.
I'm not sure. Is it creativity or is it just absolute
No, it is
mentalist?
creativity. No, it is absolutely creativity because, as you said, we got so much more out of it.
Yeah, true.
So it is creativity. And I think the one thing it gave me, which is super important, is it kept grounding me back to what we're doing. Even though it's almost seems like repetitive behavior, it's healthy because
Yeah.
it then keeps me in that space of like, no, this is what we're doing. It's not, as you said, it's not about creating a learning program or a leadership program or whatever it may be, all of the expertise we have. It's not. It's about getting people's grey matter in a healthy, fit mindset state to actually learn and transform in the first place. And that's the bit that we talked a lot about of there's loads of programs out there, but how do you know what you're going to get out of it if you don't know what you're putting into it and your brain is not equipped with the right sense of something, whatever that is, whether it's a growth mindset or getting your limiting beliefs to be quiet, whatever it is, that's the space. So we're almost like creating a workout for the brain
Mm.
before it goes on a learning journey.
And good for all of our future customers or clients is that we've had to do that workout on our own brains as we've navigated all of this. Um, yeah, the learning of that of the last week has been pretty incredible. And I think it flagged some of the challenges that you do have to work through. So for example, procrastination and being in freeze, which is definitely where I've been. And it's really easy. And I think a lot of content can be like, well, when you're procrastinating, just go for a walk and then do the thing. And what I realized was my procrastination over the last month around some of the things I needed to be doing for the business were not because I was just avoiding them. They were because they genuinely are not something I'm good at, strong at. It caused me great fear. And that is the marketing. And so as soon as last week we'd gone, well, we can just let go of some of that stuff, lots of the procrastination disappeared because I think this is why you have to explore things and not just take them at face value, because it's so easy to be like, well, I just keep procrastinating and then get angry about that. I was, but no matter what I done, I was never going to do that thing because it
Yeah,
was
and I
too
think as
hard or it
well,
was too different.
I think procrastination, it's an interesting one because I don't know whether we truly give it enough time to think about what the procrastination is. Like, what I mean is where it's coming from.
Mm,
So for us, that was coming from a place of unknown due to lack of knowledge, not having the expertise, fear of getting it wrong, and actually it being a monumental waste of time. And we end up doing something because we think it's the right way and it isn't. And then it just wastes like a whole month. So sometimes procrastination comes from somewhere else. And I think in this instance, it definitely did. And I think the reason why you then have the energy afterwards is because you've let go of it to go, well, brilliant, I can let go of that.
yeah,
So then
yeah.
you're free to go on and do the things that you know how to do. So it's, yeah, procrastination is interesting.
Well, and also it's like, what value is it to me? So like I could have, yes, maybe I was procrastinating because I was scared because I didn't know how to do the thing. And if that was of real value to me in the longer term, then that's then worth exploring and learning and taking the time to learn how to do the thing so I feel more confident, then I can do it. I don't ever want to be doing this. It is
No,
not of value to me. I mean, I guess in some ways it would be of value to be able to do our own marketing, but equally, I'd rather be doing the thing that I want to be doing, the business, the thing. And so therefore, it no longer felt like procrastination. It was just an outsourcing problem.
definitely was. And I think it is an activity of weighing the pig. Is us being able to do it going to bring value? No. Talking about the benefit of it is, yes, the thing is of benefit to us because we know we need it, but us actually learning and investing
Mm,
the time to doing it is not of benefit because that's taking time away from what we actually want to do. So that was the activity I think for me that was really interesting to go, yes, it's worth investing money and onboarding somebody to do these things because it allows us to go and do the things that truly bring us energy and where all of our expertise lie. You know, they don't lie in that arena. So that was, yeah, it was really eye-opening to be able to do that last week.
yeah, and for it to feel, I guess this is the thing, isn't it? Exploring some of these things because some of them are so much more within reach and more accessible than you think. And it also, the risk is, that's the other thing, weighing up the risks and the benefits, because actually the risk for us is far greater because, certainly for me, the more energy or time and effort I was having to try to put into working out how to market ourselves, the less enthusiasm, energy, and
Yeah.
drive and clarity I had around what we're actually doing. Because we still need to shape some of that and we still need to pull a lot of that stuff together and we still need to use our knowledge and skills in that area. And so, therefore, if completely lose all of that energy and drive and passion and commitment, I then don't have anything to market.
Well, yeah,
Then it's
that's true.
pointless. I might as well, like, and that's, I
I was,
think, where I could feel it really
mhm.
happening and I could feel it almost. And nobody talks about this, do they? Like they say, like, oh, you become the marketer, you become the salesperson, you become all of this stuff when you do a business. Fine, get that. But nobody talks about making sure you've got the balance between how much of that and how much of your business you're doing so that you don't completely fall out of love with it.
Yeah, and I think there's a big difference between a product, a tangible product, and a service. A tangible product is created and you spend that time creating it, and then you can focus on taking it to market and all of the other things and the commercial side of it and all of that stuff. But when you're providing a service, it's continually ongoing. I know products evolve, but services are, it's not just one service. That's the thing, it's multiple things to a very varied audience, which takes a lot of time. And it's a continual momentum and evolution of that all of the time. So that's where our energy has to go. So putting that into marketing is not beneficial. So I think it's that realization of like, what is it that you're doing versus how much spare time do you have for the other things and how much love do you have for the other. I mean, I have zero love for marketing. Um, or any of that stuff, or spreadsheets, or accounting, or basically everything that makes a business viable
All of
are
the
the
things
things
that
that
we've
I'm
got
like,
to
"Nah,
do.
no, I'm really not interested." But
The only
seriously,
bit
it's
I
definitely
am
gonna be
is
an
the
interesting
operations.
journey.
The operations and like the actual like doing the doing, absolutely fine with that. So if somebody come and told me exactly what I needed to do on the marketing, like, and it was all set up, then I would do it. But I can't think through that unknown. No, I'm with you.
There
There's
it
a
is.
lot that
You've just said it. Unknown. That's what it is.
yeah,
Unknown.
it is the unknown, and it's the lack of clarity as well as a whole. Like, and I think that's the thing that we needed to keep going back to, and why last week was really helpful, because we need that clarity of our purpose. What direction are we traveling in, and how do we want to do it? And I think that was the biggest thing. We hadn't probably to begin with thought enough about the how, and we'd sort of followed the leads that were in front of us because they would generate income, rather than how do we actually want to do this? How do we want to show up? How do we want to be? What does our brand look like? And all of those types of questions that last week we really untangled. Um, yeah.
What was your favourite part of last week?
Oh, good question. What was my favourite part of last week? My favourite part of last week was when we'd like got over all of that uncomfortableness and the spaghetti junction and gone. I guess we give ourselves a bit of time for the creative and the fun side, um, and the energy of like how are we going to come up, like how are we going to be? What does transformative minds and inner reboot look like? And how do we help people? Ultimately, that was probably my favorite, minus the you testing me on songs from the 80s. That actually I think I've done quite well on.
Did very good.
Apart from that was probably the ultimate favorite. Yeah, I think was that like epiphany moment of like, hang on, this is what we want. And it wasn't a new thing. It was just taking us way back to when we very first started talking about what we wanted to do and
Yeah.
having that clarity. For me, I am not I can't operate without clarity, is
Yeah.
probably what I've realised.
Yeah, definitely. I
What
think
about
mine
you?
was um some of the new ideas we had around like the transformation cards and some other bits and pieces that we're going to create. Um because I feel like I get a lot of energy. I get really happy and excited when we're in creative space. So I think
Yeah,
that's
same.
probably my favorite bit. Um I'm
And like
trying to
the
think, I
idea
was
of
going to ask you like,
products.
yes, the product idea is just really good.
Yeah.
I think we can have a lot of fun with those. I was gonna ask what was the worst bit, but I feel like that's so negative. It's like,
No, I don't think I don't it's drawn on a negative thing, but it's really, really, really important. Um, what was the worst part? The worst part for me was I knew heading over on the Wednesday when we was together
mm,
that I had to put on my big brave pants and be like, something feels really off, and
mm,
I don't feel okay at the moment in terms of where I was at with it all. Um, yeah, I think that was probably the hardest moment, but the relief, as always, when you offer the space. I mean, if there's a thing, we talk in our work about psychological safety, like, let's just bucket that up, because that was, like, huge in terms of it was met with helpful challenge. It was met with, like, "Tell me more about that," or "What is it?" And I think those first couple of hours were hard
Mm.
because we both had some real challenges that we'd realised, and we're almost
Yeah.
going, "Right, okay, well, hang on then. Like, where does this leave us?"
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think mine is similar. Mine is almost like that was the first couple of hours of thinking, I'm feeling a sense of impending doom and I have to share this with Heidi. was like, was my big thing of like, why is there this albatross around my neck and I can't quite and it's really weird because we clearly both have been feeling it and both took the same opportunity to be like, let's just get all our cards on the table. This is how we're feeling.
Yeah.
But it was so helpful, really, really
Gotcha.
helpful. So yeah, it's kind of worst but best. I think actually the worst bit about last week was when I tried to do a good deed and I delivered someone's bloody parcel to them and then got told off by the delivery company.
And that become a
That's
logistical
my
admin nightmare.
that was my life lesson then. There we go. Never be kind and drop a parcel up the road because the driver has delivered it to the wrong house. Keep hold of it.
'Cause if not, it will cause you chaos.
Yes.
Um, it was the worst bit because we also wouldn't. If we hadn't have done that and we hadn't explored it and we hadn't have shared
Mm,
it, we wouldn't have made progress. And ultimately, I think that would have been like not the start of the end, but it would have had bigger impacts on us over the next couple of months
I
had we
think
have
it would
just
have
continued.
snowballed
Yeah,
negatively. I think it would have snowballed negatively, and I think we would have ended up being pretty unhappy actually
yeah,
of the direction of travel. Whereas now I think we've pivoted really well, and I think we're definitely agile enough in our skill set that it's going in the right direction. And I think that was my key takeaway for sure.
yeah. And we're back. We're back where we were really early doors
Mm,
when we could afford to be both in every sense, time, money, energy, everything. Um, we could afford to just be really playful with it.
mm,
And that's, I think, probably one of the things that we need to hold really, really close to us over the next couple of months is,
mm.
are we being playful with it? Because if we're
Yeah,
not, then there's no point.
we're off track. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I think all of these things, everything we've talked about, is so um, relevant to whatever you're stuck in. It could be a really personal thing. It could be you're stuck between careers. It could be you're stuck in just like a decision. I think it doesn't have to be a big long term thing, but like a singular decision. And if you can just create the space to ask some of those difficult questions, to challenge it, and ideally have somebody else help you navigate through that, because I think if not, you can sort of avoid the hard questions. And know what's important to you at the core. Like, we knew that we wanted to have fun with it and it to be playful and it to be not serious or corporate or any of that stuff. Keep those really close because they are almost like your little guiding positive P's.
We're back to that. We're going to have to do something with that, the positive piece.
I know. I can't let them go now.
Maybe it becomes a book. I don't know. Who knows?
Little
We'll
positive
we'll
P. You'll just
figure it.
start seeing little positive
Have it
P's like bouncing around.
pop up. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think there's what the thing
Hmm.
doesn't really matter. It's how you
Yeah.
navigate it
Yeah.
and some of those bigger questions and reflections.
Hmm. Definitely. Yes. Useful. All of the things explored, positive, negative, and everything in between.
Yes, I agree. So ask the difficult questions, ask the
Hmm.
positive questions, and just play around with it as much as you can to come out of the unstuckness.
And allow the time to do so.
Yeah, indeed. If there's something screaming at you, or you're in freeze mode, or fly or fight mode, like if there's something that just feels a bit off, just pause.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
is probably the biggest thing. So yes, thank you for a wild week,
Oh,
because that is what it feels like. It
thank
feels
you.
like it's been a really wild
It
week.
was, it has been a really wild week, and here's to many more in
Indeed.
the
Well,
positive realms.
more positive wild weeks, not
Yes,
any
exactly.
catastrophic thinking. But yes, thank you, and I'll speak to you soon.
Awesome. Bye.